The story begins with Phi finding himself in the reincarnation realm after his death, where he gets informed by the goddess that every reincarnated soul receives one divine blessing. This first skill he receives in this new life after reincarnation is the unlock skill, and using that, Phi manages to unlock the seal of a busty golem with his partner. However, as soon as his partner sees the curves of that golem, his freakiness takes over and he stabs Phi from behind. Even though the golem eliminates Phi's partner, Phi ends up dying as well. Once again, he finds himself in the reincarnation realm, this time requesting a cheat skill, only to be told that the blessings given are random. The second skill he receives is called Provoke, and in this second life, Phi finds himself getting chased by a dragon. Luckily, one of his friends appears and defeats the dragon for him. But before they get the chance to catch up, another dragon appears, and just in time, Phi pushes his friend away and uses the Provoke skill to get attacked by the dragon instead. In his third life, Phi receives the skill called Clairvoyance, which helps him see far-off places and straight through dressing room walls. With the help of a hero, he defeats the Demon Lord in that world, but as a last resort, the Demon Lord makes sure to take the hero with him to the underworld. Luckily, Phi comes in front of the attack and ends up dying, saving the hero. During his fourth reincarnation, Phi has the ability to regenerate and heal his wounds instantly. Surprisingly, he manages to live his life to the fullest in this world, and on his deathbed, finds his whole family gathered around him. Phi's granddaughter promises to study hard and bring him back to life one day. Phi tells her that there's no need as he's lived more than enough, although he regrets not getting the cheat skill this time as well. After his death, Phi once again finds himself in the reincarnation realm, which comes as a shock to the goddess, as Phi had the perfect ending this time. When Phi argues that he didn't have the overpowered skill, he gets told by the goddess that if he doesn't move on, no one else can get reincarnated. Nonetheless, he gets reincarnated the fifth time, and in this life, the goddess doesn't even inform him about his skill, leaving him with no choice but to rely on his past skills. Having no other choice, he's forced to do odd jobs for an A-rank party. While they were taking a break during one of their missions, a monster named Shadow Step appeared, which was an S-rank threat. When everyone started running, Phi decided to stay back as he had enough of being the errand boy. Not knowing what his ability might be, he takes the chance and triggers it to fight the monster. To his shock, the skill turns out to be summoning that ends up summoning all his allies from the past lives. The golem named Dantua starts things off by striking the monster using her hammer, and following that, his friend from the dragon world named Tuco lands the second attack. Meanwhile, the hero named Bren, who is annoyed by the fact that he has to deal with monsters again, cuts it in bite-sized pieces, and to finish things off, Phi's granddaughter named Lulubel strikes the monsters with a magical spell, finishing it off for good. Once they are done, they all make sure to greet Phi, and seeing that the four of them are on his side, Phi is confident that he will be able to show the world what overpowered really means. Nonetheless, he thanked everyone for coming and mentioned that he looked forward to working with them. Without wasting any time, Lulubel walks up to Phi and gives him a big hug, talking about how he has become shorter. Meanwhile, Tuco, who heard Lulubel call Phi her grandpa, questions him about it, asking if he was married in another world or something. Phi reassures her that Lulubel and he aren't blood-related, which comes as a relief to Tuco, who comments on how she would have flicked his forehead hard if he were married. Following that, Bren puts his hand around Phi's shoulders, asking how he has been. But when Phi asks him the same question, Bren lets him know that he burned all the money he received from slaying the Demon Lord. Frustrated, Phi asks if he went on a castle-buying spree, but gets told by Bren that he drank a little too much, and the next thing he knew, he was drowning in debt. This is why Bren is glad that he was summoned by Phi. Lastly, Dantua comes up to Phi and mentions how she never got the chance to thank him properly before. The reason she wants to express her gratitude is because Phi broke the seal that was binding her, and when Phi asks if she's okay now, Dantua agrees, saying that she had been staying at the ruins this whole time. But from now on, she has decided to serve Phi and do everything he asks, even if it means sending him her feet pics. Although Phi agrees, he asks Dantua to rely on him in return as well. When Dantua argues that she is his to command, and allows him to treat her as a tool if that's more convenient. Fi replies by saying that he'd rather think of her as a companion. This comes as a surprise to Danshua, and with a smile on her face, she decides to stand by his side as his companion. With that, Bren questions what they are going to do now, to which Fi replies that they need to report to the guild and let them know that the shadow step has been dealt with. Once they are out of the dungeon, Fi's friends decide to wait there, and when he asks why they are not coming along, Lulubel reminds him that they are not locals here and it's better for them to stay under the radar. Nonetheless, Fi agrees to handle it on his own, and as soon as he enters the guild, everyone is shocked to see him. They instantly gather around Fi, asking how he is still alive. When Fi questions why they are panicking, they let him know that his party informed them about the shadow step. Without thinking much, Fi lets them know that he actually defeated it, which causes a minute of silence in the guild, followed by a wave of surprise. Curious, they begin to ask if Fi really took it down and wonder if an S-rank adventurer just happens to show up, as there's no way a twig-shaped dude can defeat that thing. Hearing this makes Fi realize that this is the moment he was waiting for, and with a smirk filled with arrogance on his face, Fi lets everyone know that he is the one who defeated the shadow step. This comes as a shock to everyone, but they still refuse to believe that he was the one who took that thing down. Fi argues by asking why no one else reported it if it was eliminated by someone else, and realizing that this makes sense, they all start to praise and compliment Fi for this achievement. Meanwhile, Fi realizes that this is the feeling he was searching for, the thrill of being an overpowered person. At the same time, the four of them are looking at him through the window, talking about how he's saying whatever he wants. Suddenly, a real S-rank hunter named Lavi interrupts, saying that she will personally recommend him for S-rank, but she still has her doubts. Fi asks if she wants to check the corpse, but instead she challenges Fi to fight her. As if he were able to beat a shadow step, defeating Lavi wouldn't be a problem. Fi begins to panic as he's aware he can't beat Lavi and wonders if faking a stomachache or saying that he doesn't hit girls could get him out of this. But in the end, Fi decides to take on the challenge and the two of them stand in front of each other. Just then, an idea pops into Fi's mind and he realizes that winning is not important as he can just make it look like he won. With that being said, Fi grabs a wooden sword and charges Lavi. Additionally, he uses his clairvoyant skill to see the future and uses it to dodge her attack. Following that, he gets behind Lavi and knowing that he can't overpower someone like Lavi, Fi touches her armor and uses the unlock skill. This causes her whole armor to break down, revealing those two big goodies she has been hiding. Everyone is shocked to see this and believes that he cut through her armor. But before Fi gets the chance to celebrate his win, Lavi hits him in the face and lets Fi know that he didn't even touch her. However, Fi is already aware, as he wanted to make it look like he hit her, but Lavi probably realizes that it was all an act. Nonetheless, she decides to give him a passing grade as she lost in the end. Confused, Fi questions the reason she's accepting her defeat so easily, to which Lavi replies by saying that she believed in him, and whether he was already strong or is still growing into it doesn't really matter. Following that, he heads to the reception, where the receptionist mentions how she had no idea he had gotten so powerful. She further informs Fi that they want to nominate him as an S-rank adventurer, but for that, he needs to complete 3 A-rank quests. Since he has already completed 2 of them with his old party, Fi only needs to complete 1 more. The quest he is given is to eliminate the monster attacking the Camarilla Empire. Concerned, Fi asks if it's really that dangerous and gets informed that it's an Imperial Knight's request, something that has been of high priority. Both A-rank parties who accepted it were completely wiped out, and now they are considering upgrading it to an S-rank quest. But the receptionist is confident in Fi as if anyone can handle it. It's the guy who defeated a shadow step. Having no other choice, Fi ends up accepting it. After exiting the guild, Fi runs into the others who are waiting outside for him. Lulubel mocks him for becoming chubby buddies with Lavi, while Tuco questions if they are heading to the Empire. Fi lets her know that he still needs to file reports and accept the request, so it's going to take some time. For now, he hands them some cash, letting them know that it's their reward for defeating the shadow step. An evil grin instantly appears on Bren's face after seeing the money, and he tries to grab the cash, suggesting they all hang out together. But Fi instantly slaps his hand away, saying that there's no way he can hand that kind of cash to someone like him. Ultimately, Fi decides to leave the money to Danchua, and when the two other girls complain about it, he lets them know that they were just going to blow it on something dumb. With that, he walks away and suddenly remembers that a team full of cleanup hitters rarely functions well. Thinking about this makes him concerned about them starting a fight and accidentally destroying the town. Meanwhile, Tuco asks Dusha about what they will be doing first. Since she is in charge of the money, the others are tagging along with her. However, Dusha is someone who spent all her time in an empty ruin and isn't sure how one can have fun. Tuco then suggests showing her around town, and Bren agrees. With that, Lulubel decides to show Danchua all their favorite places, and Tuco, getting the first turn, decides to do some shopping. She informs Danchua that while she is super cute, her drip is pretty mid, and to fix that, she will be helping her pick something nice to wear. Without wasting any time, the two of them head to the dressing room, where Tuco begins putting on some clothes she chose. Before long, she reveals the first outfit she chose for Danchua, which makes her look like a goth mommy. Both Bren and Lulubel are excited to see it, but Tuco seems to have some more good ones as well. Afterwards, she makes Danchua wear something sweet and sugary, something cool, and a dress that looks pretty good on her. Seeing the dress makes Danchua wonder if Fi would like it, to which Tuco agrees without a doubt. But for this reason, she instantly takes off her clothes, leaving her G-cups out and about. Her reasoning is that Danchua shouldn't wear it if Fi's going to like it, and with that being said, she runs away. Bren then asks her to pick something cute for herself too, and once they walk out of the store, another customer complains about a dress that Danchua wore, which is now completely shredded. When one of the employees reassures him that it's properly reimbursed, the customer argues that it was made with wyvern leather, which is supposed to be super durable. The reason he ordered it was because everyone says even monsters can't tear it, and now he is planning to stomp that shady supplier flat. Elsewhere, Tuco questions where they should go next, and since it's Lulubel's turn, she makes them visit a bookstore. A nerd like her gets excited by the aroma of ink and lets the others know that reading local books helps learn about the world's trends and cultures. Seeing these many books makes Danchua wonder if she can read them as well. Luckily, Lulubel notices a picture book and suggests reading it together with Danchua, as picture books are usually easier to follow for beginners. After they are done reading the story, Lulubel begins crying out loud due to how good it was, and when she asks Danchua how it felt to her, she lets her know that it was fascinating. Once they are done with book shopping, the four of them leave the store. After they are gone, the shop owner questions whether the book that drains mana will be coming back in stock. Apparently, tons of mages try to read it to test themselves, but they all pass out before they finish it. When the employees question if it's something they should be selling, the owner lets him know that it's one of the best sellers. This makes him inform the owner that the lady before just read it out loud to the end, causing the owner to go insane. Ultimately, it's Bren's turn, and since they have used a lot of money, he suggests winning it all back in gambling. With that, he sits at the table and yells out loud, which makes Danchua question whether it helps. When Bren agrees, she does the same, and just like that, she shockingly ends up winning. After they leave the casino, a shady dude appears and asks them to hand over the money. Bren advises him to earn the money properly, but that guy doesn't seem the one to take advice and tells Bren to hand it over. Having no other choice, Bren is forced to take out his sword and prepares to strike the thief who's charging him. But instead of attacking him, Bren cuts his knife into pieces, giving that thief no other choice but to give up. As the four of them decide to leave, the thief's little siblings come running, asking if he has found the medicine. After hearing this, Bren couldn't do much but hand him the money. Soon after, they run into Fi, and Tuco greets him by giving him a hug. He welcomes them back, and they inform Fi how the town has some really fun stuff. Seeing them smile makes Fi glad, as he believes that worrying about them fighting was just a waste of energy. Meanwhile, in the Empire, the Imperial Knight Commander bows in front of the monster, informing them that the next sacrifice of adventurers will be prepared shortly. Meanwhile, Fi and the others are already flying towards the Empire, and soon after, they are finally able to see what the city looks like from the sky. Once they arrive in the city, they begin exploring it, and Lulubal questions if they are to defeat the monsters, to which Fi agrees, saying that just thinking about becoming an S-rank after this is giving him chills. However, the strange thing they notice is that the town doesn't seem to be damaged, and they figure that the monsters might be small in size. Nonetheless, Fi suggests getting started by meeting with the Knight Commander who issued the request. With that, the five of them head to the castle, where the Commander of Knights, named Mihail, introduces himself. Fi also informs him that he's the Baby Yoda-sized adventurer hired for the subjugation request, and the others make sure to also introduce themselves. After making sure that Fi is the party leader, he decides to do a strategy meeting for the monster's subjugation. As expected, Fi gets excited about feeling important once in his life, and as soon as the meeting begins, Mihail brings the Empire's finest tea for the five of them. While they enjoy drinking the tea, Mihail decides to take Fi to the meeting room. On their way, he informs Fi that the monster that attacked the Empire is called Rob, and after hearing its name, Fi figures that it must be weaker than Shadow's Step. Mihail further mentions that Rob was so strong that the Knights couldn't stand a chance against it, which makes Fi argue about how the city doesn't seem damaged at all. Mihail replies by telling Fi that instead of attacking the city or eliminating the civilians, Rob gave them a condition and demanded that they deliver regular human sacrifices. Shocked, Fi questions if they sacrificed people from the Empire, to which Mihail disagrees, saying that sacrificing their own citizens to protect the nation defeats the entire purpose of saving the Empire. Instead, the sacrifices made were adventurers. With that being said, he prepares to attack Fi and asks him not to hate them for this. Following that, Mihail activates the blessing named Glory Ray, and even though Fi tries using clairvoyance to predict his moves, the attack turns out to be too bright for him to see anything. In the end, Fi tanks the attack head-on and falls to the ground, and as he is close to losing consciousness, he hears Mihail reassure him that they won't eliminate him as Rob wants the sacrifices alive. On the other hand, Bren asks the reason guards are surrounding them like this and gets informed that they are handing them over as sacrifices. Lulubal figures that this was the reason tea was poisonous, while both Chuko and Danchua start planning to send the guards to the afterlife. Hearing them talk so calmly confuses the guards, and they warn them not to resist. But Lulubal lets them know that this is not called resistance, as this is nothing more than brushing off a little dust for them. Elsewhere, Fi finds himself on an altar, followed by the appearance of Mihail, who informs him that this is where they deliver sacrifices to Rob. He further mentions that his friends will be brought here shortly. Hearing this makes Fi mock the Knights for protecting their country by sacrificing other adventurers. The guards get enraged and tell Fi that they don't want to do this either, but there's no other way to protect the Empire. However, Mihail calls them fake excuses and takes full responsibility for this decision, asking Fi not to blame anyone else. In the meantime, Fi is glad that he wasn't eliminated on the spot and is sure that the others will come to rescue him eventually. However, this doesn't scream overpowered in any way, considering how he was tricked, captured, and forced to wait for help. Relying on getting rescued is pathetic for someone like Fi, and while he's still weak, he wants to at least act strong. With that, he breaks his handcuffs using the unlock skill, which shocks Mihail, who wonders if that was a blessing. Fi agrees and mentions that it came from a different god, but Mihail doesn't seem to care and informs Fi that he's not getting out of here. But to his surprise, Fi replies by saying that he isn't sure whether what Mihail is doing is right or wrong, but the fact is that he has made the wrong enemy. Curious, Mihail asks what he means and gets told by Fi that he has made an enemy stronger than Rob. Just then, a guard comes running and informs Mihail that an adventurer is storming the place alone. Elsewhere, Lulubal turns a guard into a well-done steak and walks towards the others, questioning why they are shaking when they are the ones who summoned her in the first place. Hearing this gives Fi the confidence to challenge Mihail to a rematch, as before his friends come, he wishes to crush him. Mihail then orders his guards to stop the intruder, as once Fi is down, he will be joining them. However, it doesn't take long for Fi to find himself pinned to the wall, unable to do anything. Mihail lets him know that he won't be escaping like last time now, and instead of giving up, Fi requests another rematch, as losing in such a pathetic way after trying to farm Aura is kind of embarrassing. Mihail lets him know that the outcome will be the same no matter how many times they fight, and decides to regroup with the guards. Furthermore, he begins to wonder what happened as none of the guards he sent have managed to bring anyone. Just then, Rob appears, asking what's going on and reminding Mihail that she ordered him to gather at least 4 sacrifices. After seeing Rob for the first time, Fi realizes that she is most likely a demon and someone not even the whole Night Corps could touch. Mihail instantly bows down in front of her, apologizing and promising to bring the sacrifice right away. However, Rob refuses, saying that she'll just take some of his knights instead. In a state of panic, Mihail tries to stop her, causing Rob to suggest taking some Empire citizens instead if he's not okay with the guards. Following that, Rob notices Fi and realizes that Mihail managed to catch one. In return, Fi questions the reason Mihail is scared by someone this cute, which ends up making Rob laugh, and she reminds Fi that flattery won't help him in this situation. Meanwhile, Mihail, who has realized that negotiations are off the table, decides to risk it all and attacks Rob with his strongest attack. However, Rob notices it and dodges the attack flawlessly, shocking both Fi and Mihail. She then gets annoyed at Mihail and lands an attack that sends him flying and crashing into the wall, knocking him out. Rob regrets attacking Mihail this hard, as she tried to hold back. In the meantime, Fi manages to free himself and, seeing that Mihail was taken out in a single strike, tries to attack Rob himself. He figures that if he beats Rob, then that means he beats Mihail, but as expected, he fails to even touch Rob, let alone hit her, and is sent flying into a wall. This makes him realize that she's too fast, as even with future sight, he couldn't track her movements. Meanwhile, Rob notices that she failed to hold back again and asks Fi not to die on her. Suddenly, Rob gets attacked from behind, which is powerful enough to punch a hole in the wall, followed by the appearance of Lulubel, who apologizes to Fi for being late. Fi tries reassuring her that he would have won if it weren't for his back, while Rob praises Lulubel for coming all this way just to be a sacrifice, and decides to make sure she holds back this time. With that, she charges Lulubel to land an attack, but to her shock, Rob is forced to back away instead as Lulubel's protective barrier saves her. Lulubel then informs Rob that this isn't some blessing but a teeny-tiny spell. Hearing this puzzles Rob as spells normally require chanting or magic circles. Lulubel replies by saying that she does chant as every step she takes, and every gesture, even a single blink, counts as chanting for her. With that, Rob notices another insanely powerful attack heading her way, which turns out to be strong enough that every citizen of the Empire saw it. However, Rob still manages to dodge it somehow and realizes that she doesn't need to hold back against her. With that being said, she lands a powerful strike on Lulubel's shield and, to her shock, manages to break it. Furthermore, she severs one of Lulubel's arms, shocking Fi. Shockingly, Lulubel grows that severed arm back before Rob could even process what happened, which freaks Rob out, causing her to question why the arm is still there. Lulubel reveals that her specialty is healing magic, and an injury like that heals in an instant. Additionally, she has realized that there's no need to hold back against Rob and asks her to brace herself for some serious injuries. Afterward, Lulubel attacks Rob with a beam-like attack, and although Rob manages to dodge it, another magic circle appears right behind her, hitting her head on this time. While Rob tries her best to tank the damage dealt, another magic circle attacks her from beneath, piercing her body. Even after that, Lulubel doesn't take a break and starts off by freezing Rob, burning her to a crisp, and attacking her continuously with more of those beam attacks. Rob can't believe how the attacks just keep coming, as the less one chants, the weaker the magic should get, but that's not the case for Lulubel. Eventually, Rob starts to lose hope, and after all those attacks, Lulubel deals the finishing blow, announcing that the kitty is now history. Fi then walks up to Lulubel, complimenting her for winning, to which she replies by saying that it was a total breeze. Furthermore, she decides to fix him up and uses her healing to restore all the injuries, informing him that healing magic is her specialty. Fi gets emotional and reminds Lulubel how she used to blow up the house dozens of times because she couldn't control her mana. In addition to that, now that she is using physical moves instead of chants, it is pretty impressive. However, Lulubel lets him know that it's pretty normal and she's still half as good as her mother when it comes to anything but healing. With that, Fi thanks her for saving him, to which she agrees and tells Fi that he can always count on her. This makes Fi realize just how embarrassing it is to be saved by his own granddaughter, but Lulubel argues that there's nothing wrong with that, as in this world, the two of them are the only family they've got. Before long, Rob gets up after gaining consciousness, and Fi lets her know that she blacked out for a moment. Furthermore, Rob notices that her wounds are completely gone and gets told by Lulubel that she healed her and erased everything, including her old scars. Curious, Rob questions the reason she did that, to which Fi replies that it's because they have a lot of questions for her, which she will be answering. To start things off, Fi asks her the reason she is gathering sacrifices and kidnapping humans. According to Rob, it's something related to recreating a demon relic, which is some kind of mask. Apparently, humans stole it a long time ago, but Rob doesn't know anything beyond that, as she is nothing but a small fry. She figures that maybe they need human test subjects to remake the relic, and as humans stole it, the demons want humans to pay for it. This makes Lulubel figure that the kidnapped adventurers might still be alive, to which Rob agrees, only if they haven't started experimenting on them yet. After hearing everything, Fi decides to get the rest of the story out from her at the guild and asks Lulubel to restrain her. With that, they are on their way to the guild when Mihail stops them, asking if they are not going to arrest him. Confused, Fi questions why he would, to which Mihail replies that he deceived the adventurers. But to his surprise, Fi lets him know that he's over it, and as the adventurers who couldn't beat him wouldn't have stood a chance against Rob anyway. He further mentions that Mihail did what he could as the captain of Imperial Knights, and it was all to protect the country, which is something Fi can respect. Not only that, but if the report at the guild gets too detailed, it would be a pain for him as well. With that being said, Fi walks away, leaving Mihail behind, who can't do much but thank Fi. Meanwhile, at the guild, an adventurer asks his friend about Fi, and when he's told that Fi went to the Empire, he figures that they will have him fill in the form when he gets back. Before, they only had Lavi to rely on, but now, their guild also has another rising star, which is why they are looking forward to the guild competition. Once he's back, the guild's receptionist thanks Fi for completing the quest and reassures him that they will find where the kidnapped adventurers were taken, and Fi asks her to let him know, as he wishes to help as well. Furthermore, she asks Fi to keep the magic holding that's keeping Rob active for now, to which he agrees. Lastly, she hands him the S-rank shield, informing him that he's now officially an S-ranker. Fi instantly grabs it and raises the shield to celebrate, causing the other adventurers to praise him for this achievement. One of them then asks Fi if he will be joining the guild's competition, which reminds him that it's that time of the year already. Apparently, it will be held in the Royal Duchy this year, in the flower capital named Flax Domain. This comes as a surprise to Fi, as usually they always hold the competition in the guild's training ground. One of the adventurers then informs Fi that the grand prize this time is the Flaxed family heirloom, which is the Mask of Transcendence. Seeing a confused look on Fi's face, he elaborates that the mask is said to grant its wearer power beyond human comprehension. The Flaxed family got it during the war against the demon, and the house head who wore it managed to cut down several thousand enemies. Fi is shocked to hear this and wonders if it's the same mask that Rob talked about. Additionally, if he gets his hands on that mask, Fi can finally be promoted from being called the most useless person known to men. Just then, he notices Lavi and asks if she will be joining the competition as well. But to his surprise, she refuses as she only wants to join when it's training in disguise, but she's got no interest in playing Noble's stupid games. Fi reminds her that it's a 3-on-3 format and they can't win without her. However, Lavi argues that even if she joined, they won't be able to win as double S-rank adventurers are participating this time. Hearing this reminds Fi that they are the legendary adventurers far beyond S-rankers and their strength, even rivals, summoned heroes. Turns out they have never taken part in the competition before, and now that the competition has become more relevant, they are suddenly joining. Nonetheless, Lavi asks Fi to sit this one out as well, but Fi argues that this is the reason she should join. If she hates double S-rankers, then they should just crush them together. If they beat double S-ranks, they can earn massive fame, and with that mask, they will be even stronger than before. Fi finishes off by saying that they are adventurers, and if they let fear or failure stop them, they shouldn't call themselves adventurers. But this is still not enough to change Lavi's mind as she continues to walk away. As a last resort, Fi lets her know that the mask could be the key to saving the kidnapped adventurers. This catches Lavi's attention, and Fi further mentions that the demon they fought in the Empire was kidnapping humans to recreate a stolen mask, and that mask might be the same one that the Flaxed family got during the war. If they wish to save everyone, then the mask might be their only hope. Still unsure, Lavi questions if it's just a made-up story to drag her into the tournament, but Fi reassures her that it's true, telling Lavi to ask the demon if she doesn't believe him. Luckily, she ends up agreeing in the end and lets him know that she will be joining the competition to win it. While she believes that they have no chance of winning, Lavi is also aware that Fi has something special, and it might not be such a bad idea to bet on him. But after hearing him mess around with the others, she wonders if betting on him is really a good call. Meanwhile, the adventurers wonder who's going to be the third member, and one of them mentions that Nakoru, the magician, said she will join, which is a good idea as she's the strongest A rank in the guild. Before leaving, Lavi informs Fi that they will be heading to the Flax domain tonight, and Fi decides to let the others know. Elsewhere, the rank adventurer Nakoru is lying unconscious with Tuko sitting beside her, planning to join Fi's team by impersonating Nakoru, which could be hard, considering her body that's flatter than a credit card. The following day, Fi and Lavi arrive at the Frax domain, where he is surprised to see the people and buildings, as they all look pretty extravagant. He then notices adventurers from other guilds present and questions where their third member, Nakoru, is. Lavi lets him know that she is supposed to arrive in a separate wagon, and they agree to meet directly at the tournament venue. With that, they decide to hurry up and head to the venue as well. Elsewhere, another team of adventurers also arrives in the city, and one of them, named Duster, is shocked to see how big the Frax territory is. His party member asks Duster to shut up, as he seems like a country bumpkin, first time visiting a city. Their third members tell both of them to calm down, advising them to behave, causing the girl to confront him for not wearing any clothes. He argues that his protein balloons are their guild's best advertisement and advises others to strip down as well. Nonetheless, the girl suggests hurrying to the tournament venue and blames her teammates for the delay as they are now stuck in a crowd. However, Duster suggests going over them, and with that, the three of them start running over the crowd. Everyone is shocked to see them and wonders if they are flying with magic, but are later informed that it's actually one of the secret techniques passed down by the Silver Fist, which can strike something intangible, like air itself. This allows them to leap and literally run through the sky. Hearing the word Silver Fist reminds them that it's one of the top 3 guilds, which means the person in the lead is the double S-rank adventurer. Meanwhile, Duster notices the registration desk and prepares to land nearby when suddenly, another person appears, causing both of them to collide in the air. After crash landing onto the ground, Fi questions what happened, and Tuko gets up and apologizes, saying that she didn't expect someone else to be flying as well. Meanwhile, Duster's teammates are shocked to see her unharmed after crashing into Duster, and that he couldn't even dodge her. Duster then asks if she's an adventurer, to which Tuko agrees. He then introduces himself, and Tuko lets him know that her name is Nakoru. With that being said, Duster figures that she's pretty strong and asks her to have a sparring match with her. However, his teammate steps in and stops Duster, saying that they need to head to the registration desk. However, he is still unwilling to give up and asks Tuko to at least punch him once, as it's the fastest way to know how strong she is. He further tells Tuko that he wishes to feel her power firsthand, and before Duster even gets the chance to say anything else, Tuko lands a punch right to his face, with a force enough to break the ground, and sends him crashing into a nearby building. With that, she decides to head to the registration desk while Duster's teammates head to check up on him. To their surprise, he emerges from the rumble with excitement and can't believe that there are powerhouses like that outside the double S rank. Furthermore, he asks his team to let him fight Nakoru head-on if they end up facing her guild. On the other hand, Tuko shows up in front of Lavi and Fi, impersonating Nakoru. While Lavi is easily fooled by her, Fi notices her horns and tails, which makes him realize that there's no doubt it's Tuko. At the registration desk, Lavi shows her shield along with the guild number and is told to wait. Meanwhile, Fi asks Tuko about the outfit, to which she replies by telling Fi that she wanted to have fun with him and borrowed these clothes from someone named Nakoru. At first, Fi didn't have a solid plan for beating a double S rank. But now that Tuco is with him, it doesn't seem so impossible anymore. Just then, Fi hears someone calling his name and notices a girl waving at him. Fi recognizes her and asks if it's really the Frati he knew. When she questions if he forgot about her, Fi lets her know that he couldn't recognize her due to her newly formed milkers. Just then, Tuco interrupts and asks Fi about who the girl is. This makes Frati realize that she hasn't introduced herself and lets her know that she is an adventurer from the Shadow Guard Guild. However, Tuco lets her know that he was asking Fi as she wishes to know his relationship with her. Frati reveals that Fi is someone who saved her when she was just a lowly thief and gave her guidance, which makes Fi her benefactor and life mentor. Hearing this makes Fi wonder if he really did that, to which Frati replies, saying that the forgetfulness is part of his charm. This is the reason she wanted to join his guild but could never figure out where he'd gone. So instead, Frati now wants Fi to join her guild, but before Fi gets the chance to reply, Tuco refuses in his stead and tells her that she's not handing Fi over to her. But Frati doesn't plan to back off either and reassures Tuco that he will be much safer with her. Ultimately, she tells Tuco to hand Fi over if her guild wins the tournament, but Tuco doesn't want to take the long route and suggests fighting right here and now. However, Frati mentions that someone nearby could get hurt if they fight, and to avoid that, she puts her sword right next to Tuco's next, saying that she'd like to take her out in one strike. Tuco uses her tail to force Frati to back off, and after stepping back, Frati mentions that Tuco seems to be one of Fi's friends, so she won't eliminate her at least. Meanwhile, Tuco, who has Frati's sword in her mouth, informs her that the sword is not going to cut it. Frati is shocked to see this and suggests settling this in the actual tournament. With that being said, Frati walks away, asking Fi to support her while Tuco tells Fi that he better cheer her on. Soon after, Lavi returns after finishing the registration and asks if he knows Frati. Fi agrees and asks Lavi if she knows her as well, to which she agrees, saying that Frati is the fastest adventurer in history to reach the double S rank. Fi gets shocked after hearing this, but Tuco reassures him that she's going to crush her. On the other hand, at Duke Fraxt's house, the third double S rank adventurer is present, who informs the Duke that she has finished placing magic circles on both the arena and his son's body. The Duke thanks that adventurer, Julian, for the help, and when Julian asks if they are going to activate the circle during the final round of the tournament, the Duke agrees, saying that the final round will be a four-way free-for-all. With that being said, Julian walks away, hoping that his spaghetti-legged son wakes up. But the Duke argues that waking up won't be enough, as his son needs to awaken as something far more powerful, someone who even surpasses a double S rank like Julian. After hearing this, Julian says that it doesn't matter as long as she gets the reward, and whether his son lives or becomes one with the soil isn't her problem. After she leaves, the Duke tells his unconscious son that when he's awakened, he'll become someone truly worthy of the Fraxt name. On the other hand, the tournament that everyone has been waiting for officially commences. In the first round, the adventurers' team finds themselves about to get hit by a giant fireball created by Julian. But before they turn into crisp by that fireball, those adventurers instantly surrender, giving Julian no other choice but to cancel her spell and shoot the fireball up in the sky instead. After winning their first match, Julian mentions that her dream is to live in luxury, and not only does she want better money and food, but a body overflowing with bustiness. Everyone starts cheering her on, discussing if there even is a person who can survive a hit like that. Seeing this, Julian's teammates mention how their guild leader is all about putting on a show, but at the same time they believe that it is quite beautiful. Afterward, the next team is forced to fight Duster's team, and they start to wonder if surrendering might be the best option. However, Duster intervenes, asking them not to throw in the towel, as anything can happen in a fight. The opponents argue that they are not willing to die for a match, which results in Duster giving them the option to land one hit on him. If they succeed, he will surrender. The opponents are shocked to hear this offer and figure that with this, they might actually have a shot at winning. Without wasting any time, they start charging Duster and try attacking him at once. As expected, he easily manages to dodge every strike and punches the first two opponents in the gut, knocking them out instantly. After that, he runs towards the last opponent and kicks him with his full strength, but makes sure not to hit him. The force from that kick alone manages to break that guy's helmet, and he ends up surrendering after all. Everyone starts to cheer them on, praising the fact that they managed to beat the opponents without using any magic, blessings, or weapons. Eventually, it is time for Frati to fight her opponents, and just as her opponents are about to attack her, she disappears from their sight. Soon after, Frati appears behind them, informing everyone that this is her blessing called the Shadow Drift. Afterward, she attacks the first adventurer and continues explaining how she can move in and out of shadows at will. The other two adventurers try to attack her at once, but she flawlessly dodges their strike, and after taking care of the first one, strikes the second adventurer with her sword, ultimately winning the battle. After the battle was over, her comrades questioned the reason she used her blessing, as there was no need, to which she replied by saying that she wanted to show off just in case Fi was watching. Furthermore, Frati asks them not to worry, as even if everyone knows what her blessing is, she's still going to win. Lastly, it's Fi's guild's turn, and being a pathetic weakling, he can't do much but run away. Everyone watching starts to complain about Fi running away, wondering if he really is an S rank. They start calling him a coward, telling him to fight back, and just in time, Tuco, who has already taken care of her opponent, tells Fi to leave this one to her. When Fi tries to argue, she mentions that she's already aware of what he's planning to do and tells Fi to just land a hit on his opponent. Just then, their opponent appears, and after barely dodging his strike, Fi realizes that he has no other choice but to go with Tuco's plan. For that, Fi uses clairvoyance to predict his moves, and after managing to dodge all the attacks, he gets close enough to hit him. At the same time, Tuco hits her tail onto the ground, causing several stones to fly in the air. Just as Fi prepares to punch his opponent, Tuco fires a stone towards him using her tail, which hits that adventurer right in the stomach, making it look like Fi is the one who punched him. That guy is sent flying and crashes into the wall, and just like that, Fi's team is called the victors of this battle. Everyone who was complaining before started to compliment Fi after seeing what he just did, while Danture and Lulable, who are also watching, instantly realized that it was Tuco who helped him out. With that, Fi tells the others to ride this momentum straight to the finals, but they start to stare at him in silence and inform him that his eyes are bleeding. Later, Lulable congratulates them for making it to the finals, and Bren mentions that the other three finalists are double S-rankers. Fi then informs him that his vision has been blurry since the last match, and his eyes have also started bleeding. Lulable decides to have a look and uses her healing to make it all better. Just then, Bren puts his sword on Fi's neck, causing everyone else to point their weapons towards Bren. Tuco questions what he's thinking, and after lowering his sword, Bren reminds Fi that when he's in danger, his clairvoyance is supposed to activate on its own, but it didn't. He further says that Fi has been using clairvoyance a little too much and mentions that skills have limits, too. Fi starts to freak out thinking he can't use it anymore, but Lulable informs him that blessings are magic at their core, and they should return to normal with time. However, he won't be able to use it during the tournament, which puts him in a bind as he was planning to use it to fight the double S-rankers. On the other hand, Duster asks his teammates about the guilds that are in the finals, and they inform him that apart from the other two big guilds, Nakoru's guild made it too. Duster gets pumped after hearing this and is excited to fight someone he believes is even superior to the double S-rankers. Elsewhere, Frati mentions that they just need to win and secure Fi, causing her comrade to mention how Fi doesn't seem that strong. Frati informs her that although Fi might not be strong, he has 4 blessings, and more than that, he's the ideal adventurer and has a great influence on everyone. Meanwhile, Julian activates the spell she talked to Duke Fraxt about and asks his teammates to help her out as well. As soon as she activates the spell, Lulable, who is sitting in the arena, notices something. But before she gets the chance to say anything, the announcement regarding the final battle begins. It's a 4-on-4 free-for-all between the 4 finalists, and the last standing guild will win it all. Just as the final is about to begin, Fi starts to get excited and promises that he will become the strongest out of everyone present in the arena. Eventually, the final commences, and even before a second passes, Fi finds a huge fireball heading his way. Turns out it is Julian's doing, who wishes to clear out the bugs before dealing with the double S-rankers. But to her surprise, a tornado appears at the place where Fi was hit, and as the wind clears, they all witness Tuco and Frati standing in front of Fi, who managed to protect him. Tuco then mentions that she was going to start with Frati, but now she is changing her plan as she wishes to tear Julian into pieces, and to her surprise, Frati wants to do the same. Do you think Fi's team will be able to win this tournament? Comment, summon, if you'd like a part 2 of this series. As usual, thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next one.